Blessings. Spiral breath. This remarkable technique will help you with overcoming situations, conditions such as stress, anxiety, panic attacks, guilt, anger, fear, overactive mind, negative mind, pessimistic mind, undisciplined mind. Breathing techniques also strengthen your whole system. They work very effectively in your central nervous system. They oxygenate your blood. They increase the quietness in your mind. They also are very helpful in transmuting the behavior of the mind without it noticing it. So I like to call that making changes in the mind through the back door. Usually other techniques go head to head with the mind, and the mind will present resistance or avoidance or something similar. It will put a fight. Breathing techniques allow us to work on the mind without it noticing. So that's why for me they are so powerful, and that's why I also love to share them. For this breathing technique, we are going to do a variation to the way that we usually breathe. Usually we go inhale, exhale for one breath. Inhale, exhale is one breath. For this particular technique, we're going to open up the breath in 4 parts instead of 2. The 4 parts then will be inhale, hold, you hold the breath with the lungs full, then you exhale, and then you hold again, but this time with your lungs empty. You may be noticing I'm making like a square here with my fingers. So for the inhale, hold, exhale, hold. The reason for the square is because we want to make each part of the breath last the same. So mentally, we're going to be keeping a count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then inhale again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And like that we continue. So every inhale, hold, exhale, hold, every square is one breath. And how many breaths are we going to do? To complete one spiral, it will be 12 breaths. And the full technique is up to 4 spirals. For beginners, if this is something that you're trying for the first time, you're not very familiar with breathing exercises, breathing techniques, yogic breathing practices, I'll encourage you to do one spiral to begin with and start your count low. And then over time, you can increase it. See how comfortable you feel. And also give yourself the opportunity to see how the technique works for you. What does it do for you? As you move forward with comfort, with practice, with openness, with change in your life, with the practice, then you can increase the count for each of the parts of the breath, and also you can increase the count of the number of spirals that you will do. So it is called the spiral breath because as I am saying, we are going to count from 1 up to 4 spirals. And what are these spirals? So while we keep the count of the square of the length of each part of the breath mentally, we're going to also use one hand to count the number of breaths that we're taking. Does it make sense? With the mind, we're going to count how long each part of the breath lasts. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. That we're counting in our mind. Then with our finger, we're going to be counting how many breaths we're doing and also how many spirals we're doing. Good? So the spirals are like this. We're going to use the fingers, the little creases that you have on your fingers. Can you see? So usually we have 3 creases in each finger. I say usually because one time in class I called, everybody has 3 creases on on their fingers, and somebody raised the hand and they said, I have 4, and they came forth, and indeed there were 4. So from that time I just decided to not go general in those things. So 3 creases per finger, and we're going, so that makes 3 times 4 fingers, 12 breaths, where each crease will represent 1 breath. Every time that we go for 1 breath, we're going to move, counting with the thumb, starting at the base of the pinky finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. We start at the base of the pinky finger and we go like this all the way up, down the index to the base, then the base of the middle finger, the ring finger, then up the ring finger to the middle, and we finish in the middle of the middle finger. Can you see the spiral forming? Starting at the base of the pinky, we go all the way up and around to the center. That is 1 breath. That is 1 spiral. Once we are done with the spiral, we begin again and we count a 2nd spiral. Finish with the 2nd one, we start again at the base of the pinky, 3rd, and once again for the 4th one, starting at the base and coming all the way to the center, to the middle of the middle finger. We perhaps want to start our practice with a count of 6, as I was representing a little moment ago. And if you decide to do more than 1 spiral, then the count will be like this. The first spiral that you do will have the count of 6. The 2nd spiral, you will do the count of 7. The 3rd spiral, you do 8. And the 4th spiral, you don't go to 9. You don't increase 1 more, but instead, if you reached 8 on the 3rd one, the last one will be same as your 2nd one. So 6, 7, 8, 7. We don't increase the count on the last spiral for one particular reason. Increasing the length of the breath will slow down your brain waves, will get you into the meditative state, and then you want to engage in life. So if you take yourself too far, then you're going to be out of phase with whatever is happening in your surroundings. It is better to take yourself up, and then before coming out of the meditation, you bring yourself slightly down. Not all the way to where you started, higher than when you started, but not all the way as you were in the practice, because you're going to engage with your life. Does that make sense? How often do you increase the count? That will depend on you, on your level of comfort. But if you are going to do only 1 spiral per practice, then I will tell you, just as you can, as that day allows you. Some days you wake up and you're feeling more peaceful. Some days you wake up and you're feeling more anxious. So that will cause variations on the length of your breath. So don't worry if at the beginning you begin to increase or you begin to feel comfortable at a certain count, and then one day you wake up and you feel so uncomfortable. It feels so difficult to reach that count, and you have to um, lower it. Then don't worry, don't feel that anything is wrong with you. It is just the situation of the mind, the condition of the mind. If it's anxious, it will have more difficulty breathing because it will begin to see more difficulty finding possibility. It will be more concerned with preoccupation and stressing out and closing its ways to possibility, that it will also make it difficult for you to breathe more broadly. In those days in particular, you can choose whether to go with how you feel, or you can choose to transmute the feeling and use a technique to do it. So if you're finding difficulty with your mind in a particular day, or you notice that your breath is shallow, then take some time, at least one spiral. It's only 12 breaths. Take some time, sit for a moment. All breathing exercises begin by exhaling, so that you let all the stale air out of your lungs, all that air that you are saving, that you have not exhaled from your previous breaths, that you are just keeping in your lungs automatically just as a cushion. That air has been not recycled. So whenever you are going to start a breathing practice, you will first begin with an exhale, letting all the air out of your lungs, that old air out of your lungs. You will think that you're done exhaling, but if you're paying attention and you keep blowing out, you will notice that there will be more air inside. So keep blowing, keep blowing, keep blowing, keep blowing until you feel completely empty. Then softly begin to inhale. Your lungs go from the base of your ribs up to your collarbones or clavicles. So make sure to use the full capacity of your lungs. And you can begin with a count of 6 and match the count with the pace of your breath. So when you begin at 1, you are starting to fill up, and when you finish at 6, you are already at the top. Don't finish early and don't take longer. Regulate yourself with regulate the count of your breath with the speed with which you're breathing, right? So as you can see, there are many components to pay attention to in this meditation, and that will help you indeed develop concentration, focus, discipline for your mind. So that is also another aspect of this meditation. At the beginning, there's a learning curve, so the mind will be more focused on learning and all this, or it may find, or it may find difficulty and then tell you, no, this technique is not for me. That is also the case. That may also be the case. But at least you can give it a shot and see what it may do for you. It is very powerful. I highly, highly recommend it, and I hope it brings great benefits to your life. It works pretty quick. It's very effective in terms of um, the benefits. How quick can you perceive the benefits within you and around you? Over time, different variations can be done, and if you keep moving forward and you need more help, I would suggest give me a call, schedule a session, schedule a class, and I can help you with moving further with this technique, and certainly with your with your journey in the path of self-realization. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for supporting. And if you find benefits with this technique, I encourage you to please share with others, so more people are having access to these tools and are able to live more happy, healthy, and fulfilling lives. Thank you so much. Namaste. I forgot to mention, this video only carries the explanation for the meditation. Please use the link below. to connect to the guided meditation. Perhaps you only need to hear this explanation only a few times, but if it helps you in any way, I do a guided meditation on a separate video so that you can access it for your daily practice anytime you like. Thank you very much. Blessings.